Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another strangely ASMR-ish play now. Today with a game called Bloodhunt, but not just any Fortnite-inspired Bloodhunt. This is Vampire The Masquerade Bloodhunt. What is this, you may wonder? Well, you see, some time ago, Paradox Interactive, that it's currently in the midst of upheaval and turmoil, for which I'm sad to hear because it is a studio near and dear to my heart, what's left of it. A while ago it purchased the White Wolf company, which created Vampire The Masquerade, and all the other franchises associated with it in its world of darkness. And since then, they have begun to rekindle, or rekindred, if you will, the attempt to make video games based on this franchise. Some have come out already. We've had the werewolf game, which nobody talks about, even though it was released earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, or if time isn't in some sort of hyperloop or something. And then we have the upcoming Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, which is sounding interesting. And, yes, there was supposed to be Bloodlines 2, of which I was promised by Shams Georgiani on Twitter that he has full confidence that in the team that the game will come out, and that team is gone. So Shams, not a lot of well-placed confidence on your part, I have to say. Not a lot. So, what then is this creation, this child, this, I would almost say sireless entity, because it feels to me like this was a multiplayer component of a cancelled game. It feels to me like that because it reminds me greatly of the Legacy of Kain Nosgoth game. Do you remember that one? It's a game I made a video about. I'm not sure on which channel anymore, honestly. And I didn't really care for it. It was a copy, a vampiric copy, if you will, of that dinosaur multiplayer game, Primal something, Primal Carnage, Primal something. It was the one with dinosaurs where you could play as a team of dinosaurs and as a team of humans, and as the dinosaurs you had, dinosaur abilities and powers. That game was shut down, and honestly, I foresee the same future for this one. Not because it's bad. I honestly do not believe that Bloodhunt is a bad game, but it is incredibly uninspired in many aspects, and the whole, vampire thing, vampires, right? Vampires can do a lot of things. They can hypnotize people, they can drain the life from others, they can slide like this downstairs, they can slide like this upstairs. They can even run on walls. Well, not these walls, because they all have this, partition here that prevents me from running on them and, actually getting in some training, which you think you could do, but not really all that much. It's because it does so few things with the vampires. At its core, it is, simply put, a battle royale game at the tail end, and I mean absolute tail end, of the genre. Oh sure, the established ones are still going strong, much like League of Legends is still going amazingly strong, but you're not seeing there's the Pokemon League of Legends game that was created by some marketing people who probably see kids as walking wallets, their parents' wallets. But apart from that, you don't see a lot of MOBAs now, do you? And soon you won't be seeing many new of these PUBG games, these Fortnites, the H1Z1s, these Minecraft Hunger Games survival games. Because something new will come along. Maybe the social deduction game genre that I really wished would take off, and sort of kind of has with Among Us and everybody trying to copy its success. Though that won't work because Among Us wasn't successful because it's a good game. It was successful because 2 years after the game was released, some streamers made it popular, even though it's just a watered down copy of Unfortunate Spaceman. What happened to your ding dong, man? There's cobwebs all over it. At least cover yourself. So, before we get into the actual game, let's discuss a bit about the technical aspects. Now, if the video capture is working properly, well, actually, it's actually recording my frame rate now in the overlay. I'm getting 108 frames a second in this region. Now, you may be seeing that the game looks a bit off, like it has some cookie sharpening attached to it, and that's because it does. It does have some cookie sharpening attached to it. It's because I have this enabled. FSR 1.1.0. It's in quality mode. It's not in ultra quality mode because once I get here, to the actual city, my frame rate on quality can vary between the high 40s and the low 60s. On this, high 40s, mid 50s. Without it, 40s, 30s. And that's not really something you would want in a game that, although you would believe is, about vampires with vampiric powers and all sorts, this is not, as I've said, it's not that kind of game. This is Fortnite, well, without the building. It's PUBG. It's a shooter. Most of what you will be doing is shooting, and for that you will need quite a good frame rate. I'm also running this on 2560 by 1440, so it's on ultra. So yeah, you can kind of understand why it would run a bit chuggingly. Actually, you wouldn't, because the game honestly does not have enough of a graphical fidelity to chug on this machine. Yet it does. Now, when I pressed escape, you probably saw something there, and we'll get to that in a bit later. Firstly, let's take a tour of this place. This is the Dark Souls 3 bonfire scene. I mean, it's the Elysium. And Elysium, if you don't know in the lore of ye old Vampire the Masquerade, is a place where vampires are forbidden from using their powers and from generally doing bad stuff. It's a place of peace. It is sanctuary, with the Ankh, beautifully. I would think it would have, the pointy bit here, but I guess not. I must be thinking of a different Ankh. This is your lobby. Here you can speak to people. Here you can even interact with some NPCs, and some of them will actually have quests for you, like that guy over there. No, actually, I think somebody else has a quest for me and told me to get them. Get them a statue. I've not found the statue yet. It's somewhere in there in Prague on the map. But then again, I have these things as well, and they seem to be worth more. And these ones also worth more, so to their credit, the people that made this game aren't simply just creating another PUBG, another meaningless, pointless, well, I wouldn't say pointless, entertainment is the point, another what's the word I'm looking for? Hollow experience. It has dialogue. It well, not voice dialogue. It has lore, journals, items, things that you will find scattered around this very map that you can examine. Well, that you can examine. That you can examine. That you can theoretically that you can examine when the key actually functions properly. Like for example in this case, the game is in early access after all, you can expect it to work properly all the time. Melee weapons are in the game by the way. You may be thinking to yourself, wow, I get to be a katana wielding or a scourge blade wielding vampire. This is gonna be amazing. I've tried melee weapons. This is a battle royale game with guns in it. These will get you killed if you wield them in battle more often than they will slay your opponents. Much like dancing will if you do it in the middle of battle. Because this is not Fortnite. Actually, I don't think those dances help you much in Fortnite either. But that being said, let's actually get to some more parts of the game before we get to the actual game. I've put a time code if you want to skip directly to the combat portion, which is probably what you're here for. So in this game, you currently have access to 2 clans, each with their own archetype. An archetype is a variation of a character that has generally the same abilities, almost the same abilities. For example, this Vandal of the Bruja clan has Soaring Leap, but so does the other one. This Brute has a Shockwave Punch, while the Vandal has an Earthquake Shock, and these are your only active vampiric abilities. Now, in a world of darkness where a high level obfuscate means that, and I mean high level obfuscate means that the universe itself forgets that you exist and cannot see you. This is what passes for vampiric abilities. You also have passives like Adrenaline Rush. Or if you're a Nosferatu, you can turn invisible. Well, not invisible. Semi-invisible. You can still plainly be seen. I believe the FSR actually makes you more visible, which is a shame. Or you can just play as a muse and have the ability to heal yourself, which is OP as all hell. Which is why I'll be playing mostly as this character. Now, initially, thought to myself, I'll be him. I'll be this saboteur. I can throw a sewer bomb, which probably does a lot of damage. It does if the enemy never moves. And they will move, because you can jump real high. You're a vampire. And I can go semi-invisible and just, hide up on a crane somewhere and snipe everybody, and that's rarely work, whereas with this chick able to heal herself, you kind of have really, really high chances of ending in the top 10. The first time I played with her, 3rd. Played with him like 10 times. Best I could do was 6th. Now it may be because I'm better at the game now than I was 3 hours ago. Maybe because this is a much, 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 much better archetype. They can also projection dash herself into places. And this guy has blinding and damage. Now, you can also customize your characters with outfits and accessories and emotes, of course, because that's what we do and stuff like this. And you have a journal, like I said earlier, with lore. You have lore about the Masquerade and history and the knight in question and stuff that you can collect. As I said, they try to make it seem like there's more to it, and maybe sometime in a year or two there will be more to it than just another hollow battle royale game. But until then, it's just this. Oh, by the way, the whole conceit of the game, why we're doing this, is that when you enter the city, you are told that every other vampire there is an anarch, and they're in revolt. And yet, to them, you are the anarch. Is this just the prince of the Prague playing one very, very cruel joke on everyone? Is this just another metaphor like Counter-Strike is? Being in early access, you can also purchase things with money. Also, the first thing you're gonna see when you press escape is this. It's the battle pass. The things you can gain by purchasing a battle pass, which, again, money. But here's the thing you won't see here. It's the quit game option. Now, if you're wondering where's the quit game option, well, if you're seeing the overlay properly, how to exit the game, that's one of the guides. Top 3 guides out of 15 available. Not how do I get better at playing this game, but how to exit the game. We've done amazing UI design when players create a guide on how to exit, because the exit option... Why isn't escape working right now? I don't know. Come on. Okay, now... Come on. I swear, buttons really don't have this issue that often, but for some reason now it seems to be stuck. So for some reason escape doesn't work right now, so I just entered the game, but... Come on. I swear, I've had no issues with controls until I started recording this video. But for some reason, I can't use escape anymore. What I was going to tell you is that the ability to exit the game is available in the options menu in the lower right corner. Range weapons, minigun. Powerful entity machine gun. Oh yeah, here's one thing where the game still tries to not be just another PUBG, another Fortnite, another whatever you want to call them. There are entities on the map, and by entities I mean human soldiers, heavily armed human soldiers controlled by the system itself. It tries a bit, a tiny small bit, to be Hunt Showdown. It is not. Hunt Showdown knows what it is a lot better than what this game believes it may be. Let's make a play. See, these marks are where soldiers will appear, and if you kill them, you get a big reward or something, I guess. I don't know, because there's a lot of them. And odds are you will not be able to take them down by yourself. I've picked a smaller... I'm going to actually pick this one instead. So you get these pulses indicating where other players are. I should be safe-ish at the start, because at the start I only have a pistol. Also, when you choose the character in this mode, you don't get really a sense of their ability, so better choose them before. If not, well, don't say I didn't warn you. Now comes the part where we wait for other players. For me, that took about 1 minute, because the game is adamant to making sure everybody is connected by the time the game starts, which is going to make entering the game quite slow. Blood packs, these are the syringes from PUBG. They restore your health little by little, continuously. You start with a gun. It is useless. Never use it. Your best hope is to find as quickly as possible some sort of automatic weapon, which hopefully we will find one around here somewhere in this graveyard, or a melee weapon if you want to die. You may see that there's something glowing there. That would be a junkie or your average Polish person in this graveyard. It's a melancholic person. Now you see there, I just absorbed somebody who has a certain affinity, and that means that one of my abilities is now enhanced. It will reload sooner. Sound has a weird way of propagating. Because I'm a vampire with enhanced senses, I can hear them from farther away. And it does create for a very, very weird experience. Now, if I were to use my powers around these NPCs, I would trigger something called a Bloodhunt, from which the game gets its name. And in that Bloodhunt, I will be visible to every vampire on the game map, which is a way of getting you to, this one actually has reflect, so maybe that will be useful. Let's equip the katana. Yeah, that animation brought to you by, hopefully that will be useful someday. That animation of the putting on the armor brought to you by Call of Duty World at War, whatever, Warzone, yeah, that's what it's called. Let's scan for some more people. Let's actually replace one of these. Pardon, 1. Replace it with this. 3. Let's look for some... Oh, there's a vampire there. Let's try to get up there and kill them with our katana. See if that pans out. It panned out a bit. Not a lot though. See? Top tier melee weapon. Useless against guns. Guns that duel. This is not. So let's go back and try again. And we have returned from our torpor, or whatever it's called. Now, you may have seen a couple of seconds ago that I was downed initially by my opponent, but I was not dead. What gives? Well, you see, if you succeeded staying alive 20 seconds after you're downed, you come back to life, to unalive, if you will, with about 20 HP and all your ammo, all your weapons, everything you had on you. You have a second chance at unalive. Initially, you may think to yourself, wow, that is cool, that is neat, oh, that you. But in actuality, it is a terrible implementation of the system, of the idea of regenerating health, or regenerating people, or respawning, if you will. Why? Because in this game, when you're downed, odds are your opponent is right in front of you, or if not, he's fighting somebody else, and will probably also die soon, so the odds of you actually surviving are almost non-existent. But before continuing with, the negative criticism, let's see a few positive things about the game. This bit here, with getting bonuses, buffs from NPCs, that's something that I actually like. I think it's a good idea. It tries to blend the whole idea of, Vampire the Masquerade into this kind of not all that interesting PUBG game, where we can sometimes do this as if to remind you that no, this is not at all Guns the Duel. It's just trying to look like it a bit, and it's not all better for it. Let's actually get that and this. Also, there's the whole idea with somebody died there, right? I think so. there's the whole idea of the entities. You could use them to lure people there and kill them, or, not, or just have a slugfest in the middle of Prague by yourself. Like this, like you're some sort of monster. And lose, because again, this is not about vampiric powers. This is about being diablerized. 32nd, that is actually worse. At least you can go around and see what abilities your opponent is using, what tactics, what their playstyle is. And then realize, oh yeah, they're just good at shooters, and that's basically what the game is about. Now you may be wondering, what does diablerie have to do with this game? Well, when you diablerize someone, you regain all your health, and the bonuses that you can get from NPCs increase with 1 tier, I believe. And you can get higher bonuses. That is, if those bonuses really matter all that much, which they don't really all that much. Maybe the health regen does. But for the most part, this is a game where you lurk in the shadows on a rooftop and kill people who are not aware of you. You know, like most Vampire the Masquerade role-playing games. I mean the tabletop, not tabletop, the live action, the LARPs devolve into. Here we at least saw something interesting, a flanking maneuver, a surprise attack, which rendered our player a bit miffed and now had to retreat in an area that is guarded by those soldiers and being shot at. Now, going back to the down but not out mechanic, it is a bad implementation of it, because as I've said, if there's somebody else there, you have little chance of actually surviving. Now, if this only happened in the team mode, because you can play as a team, then yeah, it would have made absolute sense. Because then there would be somebody there to guard your back while you are recovering, or to speed up your recovery, like PUBG did it. Actually, pardon, I should not be calling it PUBG. You see, when I was still doing the new show, even before that, I was calling it Pug because I thought the name was stupid. And they have echoed my belief in calling it, at this moment, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So it's PUBG Pug, if you will. It's a name that will live on in infamy. But anyway, that was actually a good use of a vampiric ability. And now, this person, even though there were 3 vampires fighting, had no chance of recovering. Because the mechanic is useless. It is pointless. What should have happened at that moment was if you were thrown into a gulag. Call of Duty Warfare has the best implementation of a respawn mechanic for this genre. Simply put, that's how you should do it. You get one more chance, but you are not, under any circumstances, limited to being exactly where you are right now, because you will die if you are there. You instead get teleported to a place where you're given the chance to fight on equal grounds against your opponent. If you win, you get to keep on playing. If not, you lose. You end your game and your opponent keeps on playing. That is the fairest respawn system possible. It gives you the chance. It doesn't give you the certainty, but it gives you the chance. This system gives you the illusion of the chance, because most times you will not have the chance. It is just a lie, which is a shame, because it could have been better. Now, if you're seeing that mist over there, that blood wall, that's actually one of the improvements that this game has over pretty much every other battle royale game. See, that doesn't shrink in a circle. It shrinks in concave shapes, meaning that it can go around corners and you have to navigate through it. And you can set, traps, bottlenecks, if you will. It makes for a more interesting battleground. Pun intended. It would have made for an even more interesting battleground if these buildings could be entered into. Some of them can be, but the majority cannot. You're mostly relegated to rooftops. Though I do have to say, early in this game I did see something that truly made me believe this was an absolute perfect representation of the world of darkness. When on one of these high-rises, a player just jumped into the air and landed on the roof. It was the identical scene that you see at the start of Vampire The Masquerade Redemption, when Kristoff jumps up to that building and you see him in the moonlight from a distance, like going plop. But then the game doesn't really live up to the standard of this franchise, and this is... Actually, I'm going to be playing as a similar character in my next run through, so let's save that for a bit later. And of course, at the end, you get these stuff, which is, as you can see, I haven't really eliminated a lot of people, but I have dealt some damage, and I do get these things. And of course, now that the escape is working, I can actually show you the bit. See, this game isn't really built to, although it pays homage, a lot of homage to World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade. It's built for this, for the battle pass. This is what the game values above all else, not the quit game option which is here, but for this. And that is why it will not really have a long shelf life. Next year, I don't really see a lot of people playing it. The game it's not because the game is bad, but there are better options out there for this genre. Options that are better thought out, that better understand what they are. Options that don't ring as hollow when they shove the battle pass in your face before the quit game option. This could still be a nice game if they implement some changes to it. For example, if they tone down the importance of guns and put more of an emphasis on the vampiric powers, or at least, no, not even that. Keep the guns, focus things more on the PvE aspect and the Masquerade, because as it is, the Masquerade doesn't really do much. Sure, you get spotted on the map, but so what? And also, I believe I misspelled my name. I just now noticed that I've misspelled my own name. Had this actually tried to ape Hunt Showdown a bit more, it would have been a better game, I believe. It would have been truer to what Vampire the Masquerade is. Let's munch. Oh, that's an enemy player. Or it could be an NPC, because sometimes NPCs will walk around. They will run from players using their abilities, and they will sometimes slide down, like on the ground, like they're being dragged by some invisible force to the place where they will spawn next, because that's how the game works. So what we're gonna do now is be an absolute bastard and climb onto the top of a crane. But first, let's actually get that armor that will actually be useful. Hopefully before somebody else catches us and kills us. Let's wear it. I accidentally placed a bomb there, no worries. Place as many of these bombs as you want, because they will be quite useful to you. It has a ping system at least, So it learned this from its opposition from Apex Legends. So let's jump around, jump up, and hopefully only get down when the game needs us to move to a different spot, because the circle, well, not the circle, the mist is getting closer. Also, you can do the slide, but be careful because you do not want to do the slide off a crane. I don't believe it kills you, but it will take you some time to get back up here. Now, a sniper rifle would have been preferred in this situation, but we can't have that, do we? We don't ever have those guys over there. If it was more of a PvEVP situation than it is now, it would have been actually preferable. Actually, 101 frames and 89 frames in this area, it's actually not that bad. I don't believe I have enough range to shoot that guy over there. Trying seems to have been a terrible idea. Hopefully with the distance they will not be able to spot me. But this is how I've been successful so far in the game. Climbed up somewhere real high and just shot people from a distance, and also placed this here. It won't do a lot in the short time it takes the players to leave that area, but I can always put more of them and just side up here like an absolute scumbag, because I can. Actually, I'm gonna switch to this other weapon and deal 7 damage because it's really far away. And he teleported. No, actually, that's not teleported. He went invisible. That is another Nosferatu. Again, a sniper rifle would have been preferable. There's probably one up there, but I'm not that brave. And there's an enemy player, which I'm missing so hard. I've missed them immensely. At least I've left them without cover for a second. And now they're probably trying to climb up here, which they will not enjoy because, well, they will enjoy somewhat because I can't actually shoot them properly. Put that in the way. But at least they died for a noble cause. For me feeding upon them and murdering them. And now I am more powerful than they were. These, by the way, these crossbows shoot poisonous darts. They're about as useful as the crossbow from Pugabugaba. Deadly, yes, but can you actually hit somebody? That is the important question. Let's do this again. Lay our traps and watch them squirm as they try to come all the way up here and enjoy our victory. Savor our fiendishly diabolical dark victory. For we are evil. This game really rewards you for being absolutely evil, which you would think would not be the idea, now would it? For you see, there is a secret to the Vampire the Masquerade. It's not the vampire who is meant to win, it's your humanity that is meant to shine through the vampirism and grant you release, grant you life anew. It's redemption. This game is not about that. This is just a shooter where you can absolutely gun down the people on the streets, and yes, you will be marked for the other players, but really, you can get marked by any of their abilities to, mark you. And later on, it really doesn't do a lot. I mean, when you have a very, very small area to fight in with the other players that are left. Maybe there's just one and he already knows where you are. Oh, if I only had a proper sniper rifle. But I do not. And soon I must move from this place to some other place. But not yet. We shall await one more victim. There's only 8 of us left now. Only 8 people. Oh, how few of us. Probably all out camping somewhere. Hiding on top of a crane like a bunch of absolute bastards, because eventually this is what all battle royale games devolve into. For our vampiric powers are not really all that super duper. And the melee weapons, yes, you saw that katana really take a full clip from that machine gun, but you have more than one gun, and it's faster to change between the guns than it is to, breach. I believe that is breach the gap, reach, I think that's the term, to get to the enemy with a melee weapon and slice them into bits. They can always change to a different weapon. That's why the frying pan is not the deadliest weapon in PUBG. I believe I'll have to run away in a couple of seconds or be devoured by this swarm, this gas, this blood cloud, this endless night. At least the moon is pretty and so are the clouds. So very pretty. But everything has that sharpened filter because it's running at a lower resolution, so I'll have a better frame rate. Oh, there's 6 of us left. I should go now. Geronimo. No fall damage. At least we have small miracles like that. Let's grab that. Grab some ammo. Cannot get ammo. Are you magic? No, you are not magic. I need people who are magic to drain. Probably not a good idea to lay low as I am now. That is one of the human soldiers who are not friendly to our kin. But this guy, he's phlegmatic. Thank you for the phlegm. And I'm gonna squat here, which is appropriate, honestly. We're in Prague. We are close to, to Poland. Could probably sneak around a bit. I wonder if those guys can see me as I sneak around. Probably best not try it. Best not jinx it and just lounge around like some creep. While everybody else is also lounging around like some other creep. And see, this is the final area. Well, not the final, but one of the final areas. Very narrow. I'll have to go this way actually to avoid, so no, this is a bad place to be in. I should actually do this and try to get on past the narrow bit into the thicker bit, because you want things to be as thick as possible when you're getting bits. And I think I've seen, oh yes, hello, my phlegmatic person and a drunk person as well. I'm gonna feed on you as well. And hopefully still have time to run the hell away from the cloud of death that is approaching. And probably not get shot. Hopefully not get shot. And I believe I'm back where I started a while ago in the graveyard. It's a quiet place. Let's switch to the weapon that has more ammo. And just skulk around in the ever more dangerous grounds. Only 4 of us left now. I should get more ammo. Will this be the right kind of ammo? Yes, it was the right kind of ammo. So, this is a vampire game. Now, if this did include one of those imposter modes, yeah, it would make total sense. Oh, I'm gonna drink his... Yeah, that was pointless because I did not diablerize enough people to actually get one more. Oh, well, I have to get there. And I'm gonna make a lot of noise doing that. Oh, that is a better gun than I have. And a katana and a lot of other stuff that'll probably not be all that useful. Yeah, I was gonna should have gotten the sniper rifle, but it's not a sniper rifle. It's a rifle that, although it snipes, it doesn't have a scope attached to it, which is bad. Non-scopy things are bad. I should just use the rooftops and get shot as I do so, because somebody's up there with a sniper rifle awaiting my arrival. Oh boy, just 4 of us left, and I'm gonna give the person that is gonna kill me a lot of items to choose from. And I hate that when it happens. Just jump, and because the game understands differently what your attempts are, that'll happen. And my armor just broke, and I don't have a spare, meaning that I'm extra vulnerable now. And I will die a lot sooner, especially if I do that again. I did that again. And that guy's just gonna kill me right now. Or I'm gonna kill him. GS. Using blood. Come on. No. Okay, so I cannot actually regenerate in the blood in this place. Maybe if I... No, it's too late. Okay, the guy that was behind me died, so I guess that's it for me. Number 3. So I guess I can get to number 3 with this guy. I just became better at the game, and like I said, see? Does this scene look familiar to you? Is this character by any chance in a similar position to where I was? But you know, on the opposite crane? This is how the game is played. This is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt. But at least maybe will we see some... No? The other person just died by cloud. I thought at least we'd see some melee action. Guess not. There's still time for the game to improve, you know, to make getting into the actual match faster by not waiting for everybody to load, by having, you know, some buffer after the people already have loaded. Not have the lobby be the main menu of the game, but have the lobby be where people are loading into. You know, like every other game does it. They do that for a reason, because that works. That reduces the downtime. They could also change the respawn mechanic by just adding something similar to the gulag. Call it maybe a vampiric trial by fire or something. And instead of weapons, have them use melee attacks like fists and punches and vampiric powers. Sure, it may not be fair to some vampires, but the game already isn't fair to some vampires, and that's okay. That's what vampirism is about. They could have more PvE events, more PvPvE events even. Have those soldiers go out looking for vampires to hunt. Maybe have temporary alliances and drop this everybody's an honor except me, but that's what they told everybody else scenario, and come up with something smarter. Also, maybe let me rename my character, because honestly I didn't notice until today that I misspelled my own name. That's a weird name now. Weirder than usual. If you want to play this, I won't stop you. Nothing can. Not even physics not working in this. I mean, yeah, you're a vampire, you have powers, but are you gonna use all your powers of defying gravity to slide up stairs? Whatever floats your boat, I guess. I mean, not even in Titanfall can you do this. In Titanfall, when you slide into the stairs and stop. You can't go upstairs with it. It doesn't work that way. Titanfall 2, by the way, awesome multiplayer game and okay single player game as well. But it's being hacked and bombarded by hacks non-stop. Possibly from Electronic Arts itself, because Electronic Arts has kind of made it known that it hates the Titanfall series and would rather have, Apex Legends instead, even before that was a thing. Also, this guy has no dick. Well, this has been it for the... It's not a play now. It's more of a semi-review. Not a review. A new view. A who view. WTF is, but I don't have really the authority to call it that, because that was his name for it. And it must never be used by anybody else. This has been Bloodhunt. Next year, I have a little confidence that many others will be playing it. It will have more of a shelf life than Mirage Arcane Combat, of which I was player number 3 in the European servers, and since that there were 2 other people playing it, period. But I don't think it will fare much better than Nosgoth. Though, to be fair, this is a bit less of a gut punch than Nosgoth was, because Nosgoth came... Well, this also came after a cancellation of a single-player game, but we do have other World of Darkness games available and in the works. Again, I hope Swan Song will not suck. I mean, apart from Blood, because it's a vampire game. Hopefully it won't. And who knows, maybe one day Bloodlines 2 will actually show up. If not, well, at least this isn't such a terrible game, it's just forgettable. Goodbye, everyone. Take care of yourselves and do not let the beast take control. For in the darkness, in the world that we live in, the dark world, the world of darkness, there is only the beast that we must fear. And the sun, and pointy sticks, and fire, and other vampires. Generally, it is a terrible world, and we should have not entered it. But now that we have, we are making dances like some sort of undead abomination with no sense of self-awareness. Goodbye.